We finally watched the highly anticipated Fallout season finale, and I absolutely loved it. Even better, I'm already incredibly excited for Season 3. What will happen in the war raging across the wasteland? What surprises await the ghoul in Colorado? And what exactly will unfold in Phase 2, launched by Steph? Let's break down the most important moments from the Season 2 finale and explore what they might mean for Season 3. Lucy and Hank's confrontation. I watched this scene with my jaw on the floor. At first, I didn't think Lucy would be able to shut down the computer, but after leaving the vault, she completely lost control. Her conversation with her father was heartbreaking. How could Hank rely so heavily on mind control technology that he was willing to use it on his own daughter? I truly couldn't understand it. Just as Hank was about to implant the device into Lucy, the ghoul appeared and saved her. He even gave Lucy a choice regarding her father's fate, and she took it, implanting the chip in Hank instead. But as she tried to reason with him, Hank activated his own chip, destroying what remained of his humanity. His plans were stopped, but sadly, the danger didn't end there. Others in the wasteland continued experimenting with this terrifying technology on innocent people. By the way, did you notice Lucy's finger infected with gangrene? I'm not sure if she's turning into a ghoul, but I truly hope that isn't the case. The ghoul's hope. Unfortunately, the ghoul was another character who didn't achieve his goal in this episode. I was devastated when Barbara's capsule turned out to be empty. I never expected a happy ending for him. There was always the possibility that his wife and daughter were dead. Instead, we found a postcard from Colorado inside the capsule. That single detail convinced the ghoul that Barbara and Janie might still be alive. I really hope they are. Otherwise, awakening Mr. House and traveling to Colorado would have all been for nothing. A true knight, Maximus. I've said many times how much I love Maximus's story, and this episode was the perfect conclusion to his arc this season. He proved that being a knight isn't just about wearing armor. Facing Deathclaws with nothing but a battered shield and a pipe, something everyone else was too afraid to do, showed his true courage. Yes, he probably would have died, but he proved himself a real knight. Then, just in time, veteran Ranger snipers and soldiers from the New California Republic came to his rescue, and in the final moments, he was heroically reunited with Lucy. Maximus will undoubtedly face much greater challenges in the next season, and I'll talk more about that shortly. Steph's plan. The biggest twist of the episode was the revelation that Steph could be Lucy's mother. In fact, it seems almost certain now, since we learned that Hank and Steph were once married. Still, I never expected such a reveal. Another shocking moment was Steph's message to Vault-Tec, signaling the start of Phase 2 after becoming a target for the Vault residents. In Season 3, we'll officially witness the beginning of a dictatorship within the Vaults. Season 3 predictions. Now, let's get to the most exciting part. What's coming next? Based on Maximus's final words, Season 3 will be filled with large-scale wars across the wasteland. The factions involved will include Lurda Legate, who seized control of the Legion through deception, and will now terrorize the New California Republic. The Enclave will be plotting a devastating plan from the shadows, capable of wiping everyone out without ever revealing themselves. The end credits scene also confirmed that the Brotherhood of Steel will join the conflict, with Quintus declaring the birth of Quintus the Destroyer. Honestly, I'm terrified of how dangerous he might become. Of course, the New California Republic will also play a major role, especially after saving Maximus from the Deathclaws. And the final, unexpected player in this war is Mr. House, who is determined to secure Vegas. I can't wait to see Maximus go to war alongside, or possibly against, the New California Republic. At the same time, he may join Lucy in searching for the ghoul. After all, Lucy owes him a favor. As for the ghoul, I don't think Colorado will be kind to him. Dangerous factions and mutant creatures could be waiting there, making it far more unsettling than Vegas. We may see him searching through vaults one by one, all while the Enclave continues to hunt him. Phase 2 in the vaults. This is my personal favorite storyline moving forward. Phase 2 will officially begin, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Steph will become an even more ruthless dictator with Vault-Tec's support. We might even see Chet, who opposed her, killed. Scarcity will be enforced with brutal measures, and entire Vault populations could die because of shortages. Lucy's mission may ultimately be to stop this from happening. Season 3 doesn't tease the Enclave like a returning villain. It treats them like something that's been hiding in plain sight the entire time. That's the most unsettling part. By the end of Season 2, we're no longer dealing with random vault experiments or isolated bad actors. We're dealing with an organization that was quietly shaping the world before the bombs even dropped and never stopped after. The teaser makes it very clear that the Enclave wasn't just watching events unfold, they were guiding them. Vault tech, the vaults, the experiments, the lies about safety and salvation, all of it points back to one central idea. The Enclave never lost control of the world, they just changed how they controlled it. What really stands out is how patient they've been. Everything about the Enclave feels slow, calculated, and deliberate. They didn't rush to reclaim the wasteland. They didn't need to. Instead, they let the world burn, mutate, and fracture while they stayed hidden, building leverage. The teaser strongly suggests that Phase 2 isn't some sudden escalation. It's the next step in a plan that's been running for decades. That alone should be terrifying, because it means the characters we've been following are already deep inside a system that was designed to trap them long before they were born. This also reframes a lot of earlier moments in the show. Things that felt like coincidences now feel intentional. Certain characters surviving when they shouldn't have. Certain vaults being protected while others collapse. Certain people being placed in positions of power despite clearly being unqualified. The teaser leans heavily into the idea that the Enclave doesn't need armies everywhere. They just need pressure points, vault overseers, sleeper agents, technology embedded into people who don't even know they're carrying it. That's where the real horror comes from. You don't know who to trust, because even the person themselves might not know they're compromised. And then there's the biggest question the teaser leaves hanging. If the Enclave has been this powerful the entire time, why move now? Why reveal anything at all? The most likely answer is that something has changed. Either the Enclave believes the wasteland is finally ready for Phase 2, or they believe they're about to lose control if they don't act. Both possibilities are bad. One means the world is about to be reshaped whether anyone likes it or not. The other means there's a threat out there big enough to scare the Enclave into stepping out of the shadows. Season 3 seems like it's building toward that exact tension. Not just good versus evil, but control versus chaos. The Enclave represents order taken to its most extreme and inhuman form. A world where everything is planned, tested, and corrected, no matter how many people suffer along the way. The teaser doesn't tell us what Phase 2 actually is, but it doesn't need to. The message is clear. Whatever it is, it's not meant to save the wasteland. It's meant to own it. The most dangerous part of the Season 3 teaser isn't what it shows. It's what it refuses to explain. Phase 2 is mentioned like it's common knowledge, like something that's already been agreed on behind closed doors, and that alone should make everyone uneasy. When a plan is important enough to get a name but secret enough that no one will define it, that usually means the outcome is worse than anyone would accept if they knew the truth. The teaser frames Phase 2 as inevitable, not optional. No debates, no hesitation. Just quiet confidence that the next step is already locked in. The biggest WTF question is whether Phase 2 is something new or something old being reused. Everything we know about the Enclave points toward them recycling ideas, refining them, and then unleashing them on a much larger scale. That's why the forced evolutionary virus keeps hovering over every conversation without being fully confirmed. The Enclave doesn't see the FEV as a failure. They see it as unfinished. Super mutants, ghouls, and other abominations weren't mistakes to them. They were prototypes, and Phase 2 feels like the moment where they believe they've finally fixed the flaws. What makes this even more disturbing is how Phase 2 might be tied to the vaults themselves. Vaults were never meant to save people. They were controlled environments, pressure cookers designed to observe human behavior under stress. Now imagine Phase 2 being introduced into that system. Not as a weapon dropped from the sky, but as something slowly fed into places people still believe are safe. Water supplies, medical treatments, tech upgrades. If that's the case, then Phase 2 isn't about conquest. It's about quiet replacement. Changing humanity from the inside out while everyone argues about factions and territory on the surface. Another massive question is who Phase 2 is actually meant for. Is it aimed at the wasteland, or is it aimed at the vault populations that the Enclave considers pure? That distinction matters because it tells us whether the Enclave still sees themselves as human. If Phase 2 targets the vault dwellers, then it means no one is off limits, not even the people the Enclave once claimed to protect. That would confirm what the teaser hints at. The Enclave isn't trying to preserve humanity. They're trying to replace it with something better by their standards. The teaser also subtly suggests that Phase 2 has already started in small ways. Characters changing, bodies reacting, technology behaving in ways it shouldn't. These aren't accidents. They feel like early tests, proof of concept. The Enclave doesn't flip a switch and hope for the best. They run trials, they observe, they wait for results. That means some of the people we're watching in Season 3 may already be part of Phase 2 without realizing it. And that's where the paranoia kicks in. Because how do you fight an enemy when you don't know if you're already becoming what they want you to be? By the time Season 3 really gets going, Phase 2 won't just be a mystery. It'll be a ticking clock. A reminder that while everyone else is reacting, the Enclave is executing a plan that doesn't need permission, doesn't need approval, and doesn't care who gets crushed in the process. And the worst part is that the teaser makes it feel like stopping Phase 2 might not even be possible anymore. Colorado isn't being teased as just another location in Season 3. It's being framed like a destination the story has been moving toward from the very beginning, even if we didn't realize it at the time. The teaser treats Colorado less like a place on the map and more like a locked door that's finally about to be opened. And once that door opens, a lot of truths that have been buried since before the bombs are going to come spilling out. That alone tells us that whatever is waiting there isn't meant to be revealed lightly. The biggest reason Colorado matters is that it feels like a nerve center, not a frontline battlefield, but a command hub. Everything about the way it's referenced suggests long-term planning, secrecy, and insulation from chaos. While the rest of the wasteland tears itself apart with faction wars, Colorado feels untouched, protected, and controlled. That's exactly where an organization like the Enclave would anchor its most important assets. If Phase 2 is the future of their plan, then Colorado is where that future is being built, tested, and monitored. This also explains why so many storylines seem to be slowly bending in that direction. Characters aren't just wandering randomly anymore. Their paths feel guided, whether they realize it or not. Information keeps pointing west, north, toward the Rockies. Old flashbacks suddenly gain new meaning. What once looked like desperate survival choices now feel like pieces of a larger mission that was set in motion years ago. The teaser makes it clear that Colorado isn't where the story starts. It's where the story finally tells the truth. Another unsettling detail is how Colorado ties into legacy power. Presidents, bunkers, sealed facilities, AI systems, things designed to outlast governments and wars. The Enclave doesn't believe in rebuilding from the ashes like everyone else. They believe in continuity, in maintaining authority no matter what the world looks like outside. Colorado represents that philosophy perfectly. Deep facilities, long-term life support, total isolation. If the rest of the world is an experiment, then Colorado is the observation room. And then there's the personal side of it. Colorado isn't just important on a global scale. It's emotionally loaded. The teaser heavily implies that what's waiting there isn't just answers, but reunions. Truths that characters have been chasing for years without even knowing it. That's what makes the journey there so dangerous. Because the Enclave understands this too. They know that people are easier to control when hope is involved. When love, family, and closure are dangled just out of reach. Colorado isn't just a stronghold, it's bait. The most chilling possibility is that by the time the characters reach Colorado, it might already be too late. If Phase 2 is tied to what's happening there, then the reveal won't be about stopping the plan. It'll be about understanding what's already been done. The teaser gives off this quiet sense of inevitability, like the Enclave has already accounted for resistance. Colorado isn't where the war begins. It's where the consequences finally become impossible to ignore. Season 3 looks like it's going to turn trust itself into a weapon, and that might be the most brutal shift the show has made so far. The teaser leans hard into the idea that the Enclave doesn't need constant surveillance or open domination. They've already done the hard part. They've planted themselves inside people. Sleeper agents aren't just a plot device here. They're a worldview. A reminder that the Enclave's greatest strength isn't firepower, it's patience. The truly terrifying part is that these sleeper agents may not even know they're working for the Enclave. That changes everything. This isn't about loyalty or ideology. It's about control built directly into the body. A chip, a mark, a trigger waiting for the right signal. The teaser suggests that activation isn't random either. It's timed, coordinated, part of a larger sequence that only the Enclave fully understands, which means entire communities could flip overnight without warning, and no one would see it coming. This kind of threat destroys group dynamics instantly. Every alliance becomes fragile. Every stranger becomes suspicious. Even longtime companions start questioning each other. The teaser makes it clear that Season 3 won't just test characters physically. It'll test them emotionally. How do you lead when you don't know who's compromised? How do you protect people when you can't tell if they're a liability? And how do you live with the idea that you yourself might be one bad signal away from becoming someone else's weapon? What makes this worse is how casually the Enclave seems to treat it. To them, sleeper agents aren't monsters. They're infrastructure, just another system running in the background. That mindset is what separates them from every other faction. The Brotherhood wants order. The NCR wants stability. The Legion wants dominance. The Enclave wants obedience, even if it has to be invisible. The teaser frames this as a philosophical war, not just a physical one. Free will versus efficiency. This also sets up some brutal character moments. Imagine realizing that someone you trusted saved your life, not because they cared, but because their programming required it. Or discovering that a loved one's actions were guided by a plan they never consented to. Season 3 seems ready to sit in that discomfort, not rush past it, not soften it, just let the paranoia spread and watch what breaks. By the time the Enclave fully activates whatever system they've been building, the wasteland won't feel like a battlefield anymore. It'll feel like a minefield. One wrong move, one wrong person, one wrong assumption, and everything detonates. That's the kind of tension the teaser promises, and it's the kind that doesn't let anyone walk away clean. What makes Fallout Season 3 feel so different isn't just the scale of what's being teased. It's the tone. The teaser doesn't feel like it's building toward a single victory or a clean resolution. It feels like it's building toward a realization, the kind that changes how you see everything that came before it. Season 3 doesn't look like the season where the heroes win. It looks like the season where the truth finally becomes impossible to ignore. Every major storyline seems to be pointing toward the same uncomfortable idea. The Enclave might actually be winning, and they might have been winning for a very long time. Not through open war, but through preparation. While everyone else was fighting over scraps, the Enclave was designing the future. Phase 2, Sleeper Agents, Colorado, all of it feels like pieces of an endgame that doesn't require total annihilation to succeed. They don't need to kill everyone, they just need to decide who gets to be human anymore. That's why the emotional stakes feel heavier than ever. Reunions aren't going to be happy, answers aren't going to bring peace, learning the truth might actually make things worse. The teaser hints that some characters will be forced to choose between stopping the Enclave and saving the people they love, and those choices won't come with clean moral victories. Whatever happens in Season 3 is going to leave scars, not just on the world, but on the characters themselves.